Thank you, Chris. Good morning, and welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose, and I want to welcome our Facebook community and our YouTube community, and all of those that are sitting in their pajamas with a nice cup of coffee with their pets, enjoying this beautiful Easter Sunday morning. All right, and so now we'll have a sacred reading from my husband, Hugh, who is not here, but we will have that recorded, and that will be on YouTube as well. And I just want to let our Facebook audience know that he's holding our rabbit during this recording. So it's very special to me because it's our big holiday. It's Easter. Okay, let's hear from Hugh.
Into the Chrysalis by Chris Corrigan. Chrysalises both inspire and baffle me. The thought that a caterpillar can crawl into a sac made of its own body and dissolve its form and come out as a butterfly is an often used image of transformation. But holy cow, stop for a moment and really think about that. Does the caterpillar know this is going to happen? If it does, that shows some tremendous trust. If it doesn't, then that shows some incredible courage. It just hangs out there, isolating itself from the rest of the world and changing in ways it can never understand. Does a caterpillar see a butterfly and go, "That will be me one day"? So yes, we are all heading into our chrysalises. We have all climbed into our cocoons and are waiting for the imaginal discs to come into play and elongate and grow into our new ways of being. We might be here for a long time and learn some things. We have entered a period that will be as big a challenge as any that humanity has faced. Have some empathy for the caterpillar who creates its chrysalis and becomes a pupa. It may believe that this is now how things are. And meanwhile, at an unconscious level, the imaginal discs are swirling about in its corporeal soup with a different idea about what it is to become. Inside our chrysalises, your ideas about yourself dissolve and life itself takes over. Watch for the small signals. Watch for what happens at the edges. Amplify the acts of kindness and possibility that you see in your community and your personal life. Document and grow the new practices you discover. They may be helpfulness, attention, curiosity, or competence. Stifle the urge to seek cortisol hits from triggering events and social media that make you angry, or the outrage merchants that still crave a hold on your consciousness. Instead, cocoon yourself and study your imagination. Into the goo, my friends.
Now a meditation from Bernie. And then we'll have Jessica and Chris play.
Taking a few moments to bask in the connection that is so much of the world is currently recognizing as the same energy wave of renewal, of rebirth, of emerging. If you choose, close your eyes and settle into this time of conscious connection. Let's focus on breathing in unity. As we inhale love and exhale forgiveness. Inhale forgiveness and exhale love. Inhale kindness and exhale connection. Inhale inspiration and exhale creativity. Inhale creativity and exhale inspiration. Notice the Mobius, the cycle of giving and receiving. We give to ourselves, and then we give to others. And we breathe. As we continue in this conscious pattern of breathing, focus our awareness on thoughts, on feelings that unite us, that connect each of us. It ripples love that unifies each of us, one to another, in this room, in this community, rippling across the nation and embracing the world. One thought, one mind, one with all that is. Feel the loving presence of the divine with each breath cycle. Throughout the world, this is a time of seasonal change. For us, we are seeing new growth, a rebirth of life. Nature is springing forth with blooms and blossoms, sounds and song. Many faith traditions recognize this as a time of letting go of the old self and a time of spiritual rebirth. It is a time of hope, a time to live a more fulfilling life. It is a time to recognize the spiritual consciousness of the I am within, the spiritual essence that aligns each of us with the divine energy of spirit, the universe, with that which is the God presence in us all. This is also a time of unique stillness for many of us. This time of change is a time the world is connected through a shared experience of stillness, recognizing the unique opportunity of interconnection as a time to listen, to affirm others through deeper listening, for a rebirth of ideas, perspective, and reconnection, to bring hope, joy, forgiveness, to see possibility for a different future, to lovingly be of service. Bask in this time. Look for the beauty. Give your attention to the present moment by listening within, by speaking the truth with compassion. Use prayer, gratitude, and kindness in thought and action. Smile, laugh, play, imagine. Look up to see beyond the current circumstances to that which is yet to be revealed. Be the love that is you. Share the love with compassion. Serve with love that is inspired. And so it is.
Thank you. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Brizuela. And I brought my harp today, and I'll sing a few things. This first song is called Home, originally by Philip Phillips, and I've done my own little arrangement and cover of it. And I chose this song because of the times that we're living in right now. We can get shaken up with anxiety, but I think of a snow globe. When you shake the snow globe, you see the snow coming down, and it's hard to see that image right there in the center. But when we take time to breathe and let those snowflakes fall down inside of us, we're able to see the beauty of whatever situation we're given. So here's Home by Philip Phillips. familiar road, although the wave is streaming us along. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons that fill you with fear. Oh, the trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons that fill you with fear. Oh, the trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica and Chris. Thanks so much. And I know you all are clapping at home, right? Sounds good. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about today. Let me just get myself organized here. Okay, alrighty. So, as you know, this is Easter Sunday, and the title of the talk today is, Do Caterpillars Believe in Butterflies? That's taken somewhat, it's adapted from a line of poetry that says, does compost believe in life after death? It's from a group called Climbing Poetry, and I will put the link on our newsletter if you'd like to read the whole poem. It's really quite lovely. So, do caterpillars believe in butterflies? You know, there's this old joke in a cartoon where you see two caterpillars sort of wiggling around. I don't guess they walk, but they're wiggling across a leaf, and they're looking up, and they see a butterfly, and one caterpillar says to the other, "You're never going to get me in one of those things." And sure enough, before they know it, some intuition within them must believe in something, because it forms a chrysalis, and it turns to mush, and then before you know it, it turns into a butterfly. So I think that caterpillars do believe in butterflies. This week, I wrote a blog post for Good Friday and Easter for Holy Week, and it was called "The Womb is a Tomb." And no, wait, the tomb is a womb, the other way around. The tomb is a womb. It's a pregnant place of great creation. And, you know, I talked about how I have several Bibles. One Bible is the Bible of music. In the Bible of music, music only works because of the silence that happens between the notes. And so you have your silence, and then the notes sound beautiful because of the silence. So I think that silence believes in sound. And then there's this other Bible that I have, which is the Bible of physiology. The Bible of Physiology teaches me that everything is an exchange of positive and negative ions, that everything that we do, whether it's frying an egg or composing a symphony, has to do with the ions, the electrical particles that are shifting back and forth between our cell membranes and our nerve muscles and our cardiac muscles. In pretty much any muscle you can name, those ions are doing their job. It's positive and negative, constantly exchanging. And one is not bad and one is not good. They simply both are necessary. And so the negative believes in the positive. And then there's that other Bible, one of my favorite Bibles, and that is the Bible of compost. I love the compost cycle so much. I married a composter, and that's not why I married him per se, but he taught me all about composting and would get particularly perturbed if I would throw something into the garbage that's really good, like an eggshell. Oh my God, that was heinous in his eyes. But the compost cycle is a miracle. You take all of your food scraps, you take vegetable peelings, you take skanky old eggshells and moldy bread and rabbit poop, and you put it all in the tomb of the compost bin, and what happens? Something mysterious happens, and that compost is transformed into life-giving soil that gives us the food that we eat. How amazing is that? So yes, indeed, I believe that compost believes in life after death. So those are my three main Bibles, but there is a fourth Bible as well, and that would be the Bible. I was raised Christian, and I'm a fan of the Bible. I like the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, you got the rest. That's enough. Anyway, but I think I can name all of them, by the way. But we'll do that at another time. Anyhow, the Bible has the story of Easter. As you know, today is Easter Sunday, and it's the story of the resurrection of Jesus the Christ. In our center, in our teaching, we teach that Jesus is the great example, not the great exception, and that everything is resurrecting all the time into the Christ consciousness, which is the consciousness of wholeness, the consciousness of non-duality. And yet, before the resurrection, there has to come some other things. Crucifixion, death, entombment, and then the resurrection. But I would say that through all of that, the resurrection believes, sorry, I keep getting this backwards. Death believes in resurrection, but actually, just so you know, that wasn't such a bad faux pas. Resurrection also believes in death because the two are inexplicably intertwined. We need one with the other. Within the great picture of life, there is birth and death, and they are both essential. So this Easter Sunday, as we are starting to climb out of the cave, it's such a metaphor for what we are going through right now, isn't it? We may not be exactly climbing out of the cave, but we have been in the cave. You know, in the Bible story, they talk about how after Jesus died on the cross, Joseph of Arimathea took his body and he anointed it with spices and oils, and then he wrapped it in linen, and then he put it in the tomb and sealed it. Well, here, all over the world, in the United States, in California, in Ventura County, we have anointed ourselves with hand sanitizer. We have wrapped ourselves in the desire for more toilet paper. And we have sealed ourselves in our home. In our homes, the sheltering in place, the sheltering at home process that we are all going through. And what's going on? That's like a tomb. What's going on in that tomb for us? Well, I know that some of us are sitting around in our pajamas watching lots of Netflix and playing with the animals and stress eating some of the time. But others, and I've spoken to a lot of people in the center and a lot of my friends, they're struggling with being in the tomb of quarantine. They're experiencing isolation and despair and frustration. They're experiencing loss and grief for what we once had and what feels like we don't have anymore. And they're experiencing blame and anger and distress of all kinds. So what do we do with that?
What does that have to do with transformation? Well, it has to do a lot to do with transformation because it is part of the negative that believes in the positive. It is like those ions. The negative believes in the positive. Well, despair and isolation and loneliness believes in community, and adversity believes in triumph. And yet, I think about Jesus in the tomb, and I think about, did they leave out part of the Bible, like how he got that stone to roll away? When I was a kid, I was in this after-school Christian program called the Good News Club, and we learned Bible verses to get prizes. I got a wallet. I remember earning my wallet with enough Bible verses, and I don't recall any Bible verses about Jesus' entombment where it said, and then the Lord rose up and put on a hard hat and a jackhammer and blasted his way through the stone. There was no Bible verse about TNT. Jesus lit a stick of TNT through his incredible powers and yelled, "Fire in the hole!" and it blew the stone out of the way. I don't even think Joseph of Arimathea left him a chisel. No chisel, no TNT, no jackhammer. So what did he do? How did he get out of there? How did he roll away the stone? Well, this may come as a shock when it's applied to us, but I don't think Jesus, the human, did anything other than surrender. Surrender to the process. Surrender to the process that knows that darkness believes in light, that knows that caterpillars believe in butterflies, that knows that the compost cycle believes in life after death, that knows that death believes in resurrection. He surrendered to that inevitable process because we are all rolling away the stone and resurrecting all of the time in this endless cycle of birth and death and resurrection. Now, I just finished teaching a class called It's Not Your Money. The book's by Tosha Silver, and we've been working a lot with her material here at the center. And she does invite us in her books to surrender and to offer our lives to the divine. There was a lot of objection to that in the class that I was teaching, and also the congregation at large. People were reluctant to surrender. People were reluctant to offer their lives to the divine. I am sometimes reluctant to surrender and offer my life to the divine. But what occurred to me as we're going through this COVID-19 situation as a center, as a spiritual center, is that maybe you don't have to surrender everything all at once. Maybe surrender is more of a process. I think I shared last week that I'm doing all kinds of things I never thought I would have to do. I never dreamed that I would be called upon to make certain decisions or do certain things with the fiscal stimulus program and all kinds of things that I just never learned about in ministerial school. And it always feels like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't surrender to this process. But if I do just one thing, if I do the first thing, then the other pieces are revealed as we go along. And I'm sure others of you have experienced things like that as well. Just doing the first right thing, and then the next right thing is revealed, and then the next right thing is revealed. And I think that's true about surrender too. I always harbored the illusion that you surrender and all of a sudden God implodes in your life and you are one with God right here and right now. And you are one with God right here and right now, but you don't necessarily know it and you don't necessarily trust it. So what if we were to treat surrender like a process? And what is the first step of the surrender process? I believe that it is acknowledging exactly where you are. Here in this teaching, we are so taught to embody the power of positive thinking and to look for the gift in everything and to see that there is sweetness in adversity. And absolutely there is. There is all of the time. It is undeniable. But what if you're just not feeling that? What if you're stuck in that tomb of despair or isolation or loneliness or fear or anger? What do you do about that? Do you get out a jackhammer and try and blast through it? Do you throw TNT at it? Do you get out a pitiful chisel and hack away at it until something happens? None of that works very well. But I think that surrender does. And I'll tell you what I mean by surrender. I'm fascinated with the image of the stone, of rolling away the stone. And one of the questions that I posted on Facebook this week for the congregation was to complete a sentence. I'm going to grab my notes right here. And the sentence was, the sentence was, Divine Beloved, help me to roll away the stone of, and then fill in the blank. Divine Beloved, help me to roll away the stone of, fill in the blank. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to tell you what people responded. And if you wrote your response after 8:15 or so, I didn't get it. So please forgive me, but I will read it later on in my house, in my pajamas, with my dogs. Okay, so, Divine Beloved, help me roll away the stone of. Lonnie said, the stone of fear. Jennifer, self-doubt. Another Jennifer, trying to fix what isn't broken. Lucky, reluctance and resistance to learning something new. Annie, negative talk about the outcome of corona. Hugh, the urge to yell at people who politicize the pandemic. Sue, resistance to accepting all she can be. Dina, resistance. Jonna, the stone of least resistance. Brock, fear of loss. Karen, control. Dave, dualism. Chris, feeling not enough. Kim, feeling not enough. Gail, feeling not enough. Kathy, the stone of self-doubt. Deanna, perceived lack. Jan, fear and resentment. Jamie, helplessness. Susan, wants to live in greater trust and allowing. Maggie, loneliness. Susie, judgment. Christine, anxiety. Cheryl, projecting old fears. Jill, just roll away the stone already. I no longer need it. Michael, doubt. Gail, fear of changes that she must make to live in truth. Anna, doubt. Julie, expectation. Dot, resistance and attachment. Adele, false perceptions. Nick, individuality. Melissa, fear. Debbie wants to act from her highest potential. Karina wants to release the need to always be productive. Patty wants to roll away the stone of separation. Kevin wants to roll away the stone of separation. Fred, past regrets. Nancy, ignorance. Anne, fear. Bernie, worry. Mary, fear. Reverend Steve, Rambo, attachment. Sue, worry about family members who don't take this seriously. Rhina, the unknown. Susan, fear so that she is one with the light and love and be divinely guided. Bill, fear. And Reverend Bonnie Rose, all of the above. I'm wondering if people heard something in that list that they could relate to, that perhaps in this past time, in this past life that we've had, in this time of pandemic, that we've all experienced feelings and thoughts like those. Stones that seem to be blocking our way to the greater good. And again, do we pick at that stones with a pickaxe or an axe hammer? Do we try and push them away with our might? No, I don't think so. I think we surrender. And we surrender by seeing it. We surrender by acknowledging it. If we resist what is, if we say, a spiritual person doesn't feel doubt or fear, then that totally messes us up, okay? Because a spiritual person does feel doubt and fear. Look at Mother Teresa, right? Mother Teresa did everything that she did with a crushing sensation of doubt the whole time. So we are allowed to feel our feelings. We are allowed to feel what we feel. We are allowed to acknowledge what we feel. But what happens is that sometimes we get stuck in our feelings as the only reality. And that's where we get into trouble. I feel that it is time for an elbow touching. Now, people who are listening on the live feed may not know what I'm talking about because there are a lot of new people that are listening right now. But in our center, we do this little exercise, so just bear with me and do it at home. Not that I can check up on you. I'm not that kind of girl, but do it at home, okay? I want everybody to touch their elbow. Jennifer's touching her elbow. I don't know if Kenny's touching his elbow, but he better be. I'm going to get over there. Okay. touch your elbow, and ask yourself, am I touching my body? And the answer is yes. But are you touching your whole body, your entire body? And the answer to that question is no. So, what does this have to do with spirituality? When you are touching your elbow and your elbow looks like fear, when you are touching your elbow and your elbow looks like doubt, when you are touching your elbow and your elbow looks like loneliness, there is this whole other body of sensations and emotions that is around you all of the time. And if we just simply shift our focus slightly, we can see that in a new way. We know as we touch the elbow of truth, as we touch the embodiment of truth, we know that for every negative, a positive already exists as a template in divine mind. So if we are feeling fear, there is faith in divine mind. It exists so that we can discover greater faith. If we are feeling doubt, there is the opposite of doubt in divine mind. If we are feeling despair, there is joy in divine mind. If we are feeling loneliness, there is community in divine mind, just waiting for us to open ourselves to receive it. And that, to me, is the message of Easter. That we can feel what we feel, but that we also know that it's not the whole truth. And the whole truth that I know from having done mystical work for years and years and years, is that everything is connected in this amazing cycle of giving and receiving, of darkness and light, of positive and negative, of sound and silence, of death and resurrection. And that as we participate with that fully, anything negative loses its power over us. Richard Rohr says that the whole purpose of the resurrection is not about salvation. Not about salvation, as a lot of people think that it's salvation, like if you believe you won't go to hell, right? The whole purpose of resurrection is to undo the power of death. And because death is a lot like fear, death is a lot like ignorance, death is a lot like doubt, death is a lot like loneliness, the whole purpose of resurrection is to undo that system of opposites and our tendency to give the negative side of the equation way too much power, and to allow ourselves to be lifted up, to move into the bigger picture, to move into that source that gives birth to both the negative and the positive, that gives birth to both the compost and the fresh soil, that gives birth to both death and resurrection. That is life. Life is a source of all being, and life is love. So how wonderful, even though we are celebrating at a distance, how wonderful to get to do this work in community, to get to do this work with such a powerful group of people. I keep telling people, that ask me, what am I learning from this experience from working with the church in a time of pandemic, and I'm learning so much. Some of it I knew how to do, but a lot of it is just like a mystery. I'm like, God, seriously? You want me to do that too? What? What are you talking about? But what I'm learning more than anything is the power of our congregation. We have an amazing community. So one thing I might suggest is if you want to look through that list, the answer to the question, the stone that you're rolling away, let's say somebody says doubt. They're rolling away the stone of doubt. And I can say, oh my gosh, I have so much faith in you. I have so much faith in you. I have seen you show such great courage and stepping out into things you have no idea how to do, Jennifer Hadris, who's doing our filming. I have so much faith in you. What if we could reassure one another in the context of Facebook? What if we could start a whole other thread that goes on for a week or days and allow ourselves to be that community that is in the soup of the chrysalis, in the soup of the compost cycle, and knowing without any doubt, knowing with complete faith as we acknowledge our doubt as well, knowing that we were made for times like this, that this teaching will support us, and that our community will support us as well. And if we could just expand our vision to even a little bit farther, what if we could also go to an even greater place? What if this happening here, now, in this time, with these people, us, everyone, the people that are enlightening, the people that are awakening, what if this is something that is fantastic for the world? You know that when a caterpillar goes into a chrysalis, I doubt if he or she had a brain, he would say, wow, this is fantastic. Yeah, I'm melting. Wow, this is really great. Boy, howdy, right? Not so much, right? And we may be doing the same thing. Oh my God, we're in quarantine. It's getting really boring. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lonely, blah, 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 blah. But what if this is actually greatness in disguise? This is the emergence of something new. This is death and resurrection, the imminent resurrection that always follows death. And here's one thing I know. If silence believes in sound, if negative believes in positive, if compost believes in life after death, if death believes in resurrection, then I know that pandemic believes in a power beyond our knowing, a power to evoke great grace, to evoke greatness, to evoke a new vision of the world that is unlike anything we have ever seen before, a power to help us expand in our hearts and our consciousness and our compassion and our kindness, a power that invites generous sharing of resources, a power that inspires the goodness of the human heart to embrace our beautiful planet and all of its inhabitants. Let's do that now. Happy Easter to all of you. Let us pray. And so I turn within and trust to know the power and the presence of the living God that is truth and light and love. This power, this presence lives within me. It moves, its perfect being within me, with all of us. This life that is God is grace and goodness. It is death and resurrection. It is all of the opposites, and it is that which is beyond opposites. I move into the place of embodying this for myself, but as I know it for myself, since there is only one of us, I know it for all beings everywhere. I know it for all beings everywhere, that we are one with this life force that is God. There is nothing else for us to be. We are one with the sea of awareness that is infinite and eternal and always changing, but also permanent in its infinity, in its grace, in its goodness, and in its love. And so on this day of resurrection, I turn within and I allow a greater sense of well-being to permeate all of us. Together, we know that we are in a fertile time, a time of great power and a time of great grace. And we use our consciousness, we use our free will to open up to be the conduits of that grace and that power. We use our goodness to look for opportunities to be kind and opportunities to see the best. We hold the truth of opposites and move to that which is beyond opposites. And we know that we are one. One in community, one in grace. We know that we will overcome. We know that we will come out the other side of this even greater, even stronger, even kinder, even more loving than we ever have been before. And we use this work together in this spiritual center, in our Facebook community, in our YouTube community. We use this work to sincerely do the work on ourselves so that we may bless all beings through our conscious labors and intentional sacrifice. We sacrifice the tomb, we sacrifice the clinging, we sacrifice the attachment, and we move into that greater reality that is the truth, a truth that ultimately we can't avoid. And so we welcome it now. We welcome the undoing of death. We welcome the undoing of fear. We welcome the rising up of everything that is great and graceful and loving and powerful and good within us. And so I'm so grateful for this powerful teaching, so grateful for these words, so grateful for everyone that is here today gathering in this sacred community. So grateful for the transformation that I know is taking place not only for us, but for our world as well. So grateful that hearts are healed and souls are intact, that families are united despite the distance, and that all is well in the kingdom of God on earth. And so I give thanks for this time together. I give thanks for this teaching. I bless all paths to God, churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, all of them, all paths. And with a heart that is so filled with grace and goodness for all of us, I say simply, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. And I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. So in a minute, we're going to have Jessica come up and give us another song, Jessica and Chris, who are so wonderful to be here today. And during that time, we would like to invite you to make an offering. We are still continuing to do our great work in the world, and of course that requires volunteers and also some financial support. So we would be so honored if you feel that it's a good thing for you, if you feel like it's an opportunity to support that which is priceless. Please go ahead and make an offering at this time or any time. We have new giving options on our website, and we look forward to hearing from you. And we, most especially, I just have to say this, we look forward to all being back together again, whenever that day may be. So I love you all, and I'm going to turn it over to Chris and Jessica. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so this next song here is a little rap, since I know here I'm the rapping harpist, so I had to get it done, you know. This song is called 5-Year Plan. It's by Chance the Rapper and Randy Newman. So Chris is going to be my Randy Newman. And I'm going to go ahead and rap this out because it reminded me of this time that we're in quarantine. It's just a time, it didn't go according to our plan, you know, we scheduled things out, but we have time to just be ourselves, we have time to get to know who we are, we have time to take it all in, and we have time to just be. So here it is, 5-Year Plan. You gotta schedule vacations in your 5-year plan. You gotta schedule celebrations in your 5-year plan. You gonna have several revelations in your first 5 days. In your first 5 minutes, have your first 5 fans. For like 45 minutes, take your first shift break. There's no time for impatience in your 5-year plan. You got time for hesitation in your 5-year plan. A lot of stuff came at you in a 5-year span, and if you followed your flight plan, you'd be right here praying. Eyes closed right now saying, Lord of Lords, I know you gave abundantly, even gave up your son for me. No need for sacrificing my plans. And I'd love to say your name, it come from my diaphragm. I just had to draw a line and draw a line in the sand. Anything you gave to me, I know it's right for my brand. Anything you gave to me, they couldn't pry from my hands. I know shortcuts cut short long runs. I seen people on one trying to wrong one, get junk, hoard toilet paper, that's so dumb. Giant mistakes, people losing their income, but we shall overcome. You got time for misstepping, time for pandemic, time will make us stronger, time for them blessings, time for them lessons, time but not prosper, form but intention. You got time for redemption, time for confession, time will heal all, let's get a good stretch in. Things that sit in the way of my goal, things that eat away at my heart, that's just the way of the art. I know that I had a good start, yeah. I wish I could play a guitar. I know that I'm gonna be better than I ever was. I told them they're gonna see. I just want everybody to love, love, love. The time has come, the time has come to be who you are. The time has come, The time has come to take it all in. The time has come, the time has come. You know who you are. The time has come, the time has come to take it all in. Who's that in the back of the back? You deserve a plaque and a pat on the back. I see y'all in your suits like the cat in the hat, with the clean black slacks and the jacket to match. Found your way back like Cadillac with the flax. Came around like a satellite, down like a battle axe. Why do your word insure me like it's Aflac? I don't know. Why do birds burp baccarat? Why do worms prefer habitat? Why did it occur where it all happened at? Why they ain't no apples and Apple Jacks? Are you ready for your big day? I don't know, but you're well on your way. I know that it seems and it feels like the times we're living in right now seem really bad. And you don't know how to get through it, May. But you may also think, how have people in the past survived and overcome all of this? It might seem crazy, but it's true. And we just have to trust in God's plan and in God's perfect and divine timing. And remember that just like in the Easter story, that same power that helped raise Jesus from the dead now resides and lives right there inside of you.
All right, well, everybody, thank you so much. I hope you have a great Easter today. Hope maybe you Zoom with a family or give somebody a phone call and just feel the love. Maybe watch some great television, maybe eat some good snacks. And just be safe, everybody. Be safe, because I love you all, and I really look forward to seeing you again one of these days. But in the meantime, let us know if you're not hearing from us, and we'll make sure that we have somebody contact you, okay? Love each of you so much, and I'm going to just do a closing prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes and turn within. And together we ask, Divine Beloved, please change us into those who know the truth, into those who know the truth that beyond death there is eternal resurrection, that this beautiful, beautiful planet is evolving in wonderful ways, and that we don't always see what's going on. We don't always understand what's happening, but we know at the core of our being that it is good, that the darkness and the light are intertwined, that the music and the sound and the silence are intertwined, that everything is beautifully here to support one another in this incredible spiral of grace. And so today we recognize and we welcome the grace of all that is. We allow that to lead us home to our hearts, home to our true self, home to the part within us that is forgiving of everything, forgiving of ourselves and forgiving of others. And we use that grace, we allow that grace to lift us above this pandemic and know that we are getting through this with goodness, with power, and greater love than ever before. We are a center of love, we are love, we share love, and we serve love. Thank you for our love. Thank you for our life. And so it is. Happy Easter, everyone. Thank you.